This is your 30-day podcast marathon Everything Vocal Registers, our Making Musical Quantum Leaps mini-series where we'll delve deep into the fascinating world of your instrument. I'm your host, Worship, and joining me on this exciting journey are the dynamic duo of vocal expertise, Ernest and Jamie.
Hey everyone, get ready to unlock the secrets of chest, head, mixed, and everything in between.
Absolutely. Buckle up, listeners, because these next 30 days are going to be jam-packed with vocal knowledge, practical tips, and maybe even a few fun challenges.
We'll be exploring different registers, their unique sounds, and how to navigate them seamlessly. We'll have expert interviews, listener Q&A sessions, and even some musical demonstration to keep things engaging.
Whether you're a seasoned singer or just starting out, there's something for everyone in this series.
So, are you ready to make some musical quantum leaps with your voice?
Hello, my beautiful listener. Welcome to the second episode of your 30-day podcast marathon, Everything Vocal Registers. And we're moving with so much speed and so much value. We're going to be having quite an interesting episode today. We're going to be doing history. I know some of you do not like history and storytelling, but it is essential you have a wholesome knowledge on what vocal registers are. So, Ernest, tell them how this episode is going to look like.
History. I know we are plenty that don't like this history. Oh boy, I won't lie to you. Me myself, I did not like it in school. No. You see that history? No, I don't like it. But since it's everything vocal registers, we have to talk about everything vocal registers. And the history won't be exempted. Okay, yeah. Well, let's say this history as it's gonna be different because it's gonna be fun. I mean, you've never heard of an interesting history before, but I think this is the first one you're gonna ever be hearing for the first time in your life. Hey guys, my name is Ernest again, and I am super glad to be a part of this podcast. So you just sit there and let's enjoy this history this time.
Thank you so much, Ernest. So, like I said yesterday, the banter between vocal coaches and voice teachers all over the world has been for a very long time over this matter of vocal registers. It was so bad that they had to form a committee to discuss this thing and finally agree on some postulates and finally agree and say, okay, this is this and this is this is this and this is this. Don't go and teach anybody this. And even when they had that meeting, they still did not come to conclusions on some matter. So we are just going to say 5 things that they actually agreed on in that their meeting, and we just make progress from there. All right?
Well, the research on vocal registers has happened before now, and we cannot tell if it's ever going to stop. Well, we can't tell if we won't research again this year. But let's bring up something from the previous years of research. This will be from the 1970s, the late 1970s. An international committee that was aimed to clarify vocal registers, they made their research on it, and they came up with about 5 points that they agreed that, yeah, this is true. Let's quickly get to it. The first one they actually agreed on was the existence of vocal registers, and that is true. They agreed that vocal registers do exist, and they exist in the speaking and in the singing voice. They did agree on that, and if you ask me, that is true. Vocal registers do exist, right? We would never say it doesn't. It does exist, right? Vocal registers do exist. Now, 2, we have singing and speaking registers that are separate, but yes, we do have it. This is true. Okay, this is true. Yes. Now, this is what they agreed on. Number 2, they agreed that the singing and the speaking registers are separate, but they may overlap. How do we mean by this? That is, they are actually separate, but you can't really tell most of the times because they could be used. They are not far from each other. Right? They are not far from each other. So don't see it as singing registers, speaking registers. They are not far from each other. The third one we have is registers that are, these registers are actually inherent. That is, they are natural. They are tones that are natural. They are with us. We were born with them. They are natural. So that you cannot change these vocal registers. You cannot trash them. You cannot say, hey, I don't want this. They are in you. You were born with them, right? As long as you were born with a voice, then you are born with registers. All right. Then the last one we have is that they actually agreed and proposed a numbered system for registers and new terms like heavy and light. Well, they actually proposed a number system. This is more like a gear, as some would call Gia. And they came up with new terms like heavy and light. You know, when we talk about the chest voice, most would use the terms heavy and head voice light. So these are the 5 that they came up with. We'll be talking about the numbered system for these registers.
Yeah, remember we told you it's not wrong to use these terminologies, but just to make sure they are not planting wrong ideas into your mind. For example, some of you, because you heard head voice, so you just assume it is a sound or tone that is produced in the head, or it's the sound, if it's chest voice, it's a sound or tone that is produced in the chest. But that is not the case. That is not the case. It's because of these confusions that these voice teachers, laryngologists, and vocal coaches came together to form this postulate. The 5th postulate that Ernest mentioned spoke about how that they created a number system, a system to simplify the classification of vocal registers, and they numbered them in according to mechanism. Mechanism is how the vocal cords vibrates when you are in those registers. Okay, so the first mechanism is mechanism 0 or M0. What happens at M0 is what we call chest voice and the vocal fry. So what happens here? This is the lowest register where the voice sounds deep and rich. The vocal fry is characterized by a low creaky sound and is commonly used for stylistic effects in various genres of music. So the vocal fry sounds something like that sound, like you want to say happy birthday, happy birthday. So that is the vocal fry. Then the birthday, it's called your chest voice, or better still, I don't like using the word chest voice either, your modal voice, your speaking voice. So when you speak, when you sing from where you speak, that is your chest voice. And these vocal coaches agreed, we are not going to call it chest voice because of that misconception. We are going to call it M0, mechanism 0, or mode 0. Okay, so what happens here? Let me reiterate. Vocal fry and the chest voice, as people would say, happens here. Remember, in M0 we have the vocal fry and the low chest voice, but in M2 we have that high chest voice and the mix. That part that confuses everybody. Don't worry, we're going to get to clarify every single one of these terminologies. We're going to give you a draft or the scheme we're going to be working with, because like I told you, the definitions of this stuff is different based on the author or the vocal coach that is saying them. Okay, one thing you should know about this is if that concept is not causing you harm, both psychologically or vocally, then you're good to go. All right, as long as it brings results. So let me reiterate, and I'm saying this over and over and over again, is that you get them, because I do not want you to be confused. So let's go over it again. M0 has the vocal fry and the low chest voice, while the M1 has the higher chest voice and the mix. All right, so Ernest.
Definitely. So this is how these people named these registers. You call chest voice, vocal fry, mixed voice, head voice, falsetto. They just termed it or called it M1, M0, M2, M3, and all of that. Well, all still mean the same thing, just trying to avoid the possibilities of causing some sort of chaos. Let me quickly dive into the next. M2, this is what we call the head voice. M2, the mechanism 2, head voice. Now the head voice is the highest register. Yeah, it is characterized by a lighter and more resonant quality. It is used for high notes and allows singers to access their upper range with ease. Now, this is the thing. This is one that they actually came up with, and that is very true if you ask me, because the head voice is definitely a lighter tone of your voice. Can you see why we said it is one voice but different tones, right? Your voice. But the head voice now is not another voice. It's just a lighter part of your voice. That is your voice going into a lighter part, something like this. Something like this. This is light. It is not what I am using to speak now. This is strength. It's powerful. It's big. But you know, when I walk up to this part to talk and I'm something like this is head. It's light. This is it. And it is used for high notes. Can you see what I'm doing right now? I'm speaking in my low notes, right? But when I get up to this part, this is high. And what am I using for it? Head voice. Ah! There's a cockroach! Ah! Head voice! That's it. Okay. All right. It is used and it helps us access this high range part of our range with ease. Next we have is the whistle voice. This is very, very trickish. I mean, the whistle, not everyone can actually do the whistle voice thing. Yeah, it represents the highest register of the human voice, producing very high pitched tone. This register is used for extremely high notes and requires precise control of the vocal mechanism to produce clear and pure tones. Now this one, the creation of whistle notes is not just like the way other registers are created. In this one, it is created in a very unique way, not the normal way, and this is why a lot of people cannot do it. All right, we most times learn, and sometimes some just get it naturally. You can mostly find it in kids, but this is true. This whistle note is the highest. I don't think I've seen any other register higher than a whistle note. Come on, what register is that? So this is it. The M1, M2, M3, the head voice, the whistle notes just for that high part. So M2 head voice is high, yes, but the M3 whistle notes higher than that.
I know you'll be thinking, but coach, we do not hear M1, M blah 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 out there. Yes, we do not, because the oldest and most commonly used still has a strong ground. But just maybe in the future, all these things will come to be. But like I told you guys, the goal of this pod is not to register some terminologies in your mind. It's just to give you knowledge about them. But in yours, as you go about your singing, you should not restrict yourself. You should not put yourself in that box of these terminologies. If not, you would forever have breaks. You would forever have different voices in one person when you are not having vocal bipolar or something.
Whew, so it's been a lovely one. Just like I said, it's gonna be fun history, and that's what we're seeing here, right? So it's been an amazing time, and we've talked pretty much about those discoveries, and it's up to you to now have it to yourself that yeah, this is facts and knowledge that has been discovered, and you know we cannot trash it. All right, so time is fast spent and we gotta go. So just take this. Those of you that are still confused, I know some of us here will still be very confused on what we have talked about. You might be lost at some point, but don't worry, just chill. You know what? We got more episodes coming up, and they are gonna be packaged, and I don't know what word to describe, but I know that it's gonna be a bomb. Okay, so just stay tight. Chillax. Don't worry, we're gonna be talking more about this. So in the next one, and many more coming, we'll be talking about the vocal registers that we have: vocal fries, chest voice, middle voice, head voice, falsetto, and whistle. Okay, so just again, chill. We're gonna be talking more on all of these registers. All right, guys.
And that brings us to the end of the episode. Remember, motivation is good, but determination is definitely what will carry you till the end of the 30th day. You can start looking forward to our song of the day and musical quotes as from tomorrow. If you've not shared this episode, please do so. And make sure to subscribe on Spotify